Hello. I am super excited about today's training. I could not wait to get on this call today because I know the kind of change this can bring about if we dial in. Today, we're going to talk about something that I really believe is super important to all of us. All of us, every business owner in the world, and that's visibility. So today's topic, we're going to talk about how your visibility strategy is incomplete. It's incomplete. And I want to say this. It is so vital that we have a visibility strategy because I am on social media sites and I don't do a ton of browsing just because I don't have time and I'm just not interested. But I noticed, for instance, Bad Boy, the movie with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, they're doing a ton of advertising, a ton of marketing. They're making sure that their movie is visible and out front and center in front of everybody. And I got to thinking, I said, Will Smith is known literally all over the world. Like, all over the world. He's an actor. He is in entertainment as far as rapping and different things like that. He's been on TV shows. So he's got the trifecta. He is world renowned. Martin Lawrence, really just as he didn't do the rapping, but just as big. But yet they were on a large tour bus. On the top of the tour bus, they had like a gate around it. And Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and a couple of other people were on the top of this bus while it was driving down Los Angeles. And they were advertising for this movie. And I had to think and I said, why is it that we stall out advertising for our own business, for what we're putting out there, when here it is, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, two huge names in the industry, are out really making themselves visible, and their new movie making it visible as well. Why are we stalling out when they know and understand? Doesn't really matter how big you are, you still have to do marketing. You still have to make sure you're visible. So your visibility strategy, which is just a piece of your marketing, your visibility strategy really needs to be on point. It really needs to be on point. So I know that a lot of us we're putting in, just kind of flipping it. I know we're putting in a lot of that effort, and it might feel like, you're not getting the results that you want. Trust me, I've been there, so I empathize. But visibility it's not just about being seen. It's about being seen by the right people and engaging them in meaningful ways. For instance, they were on the top of a tour bus riding through Los Angeles. So they are engaging in front of the right people in a way that makes sense for them and their audience. Their audience were out in droves. That's what visibility is all about. Being in front of the right people and at the right time in a meaningful way and engaging with them in a meaningful way. Visibility is the bridge between your business and your ideal client. It's what makes you discoverable. It's what makes you relatable and trustworthy. Yes, most people know who they are. But what about maybe some that didn't know that they had a new movie coming out? The right people is key. I spoke with someone recently and I told them, if you're posting and you're posting and you're posting and mama and them, auntie and them, cousin and them, your grandma, your uncle, your aunt, all of them are the only ones that are responding, that are commenting, that are liking, you don't have the right audience in front of you. So you can post till you're blue in the face, but you're not going to get the conversions that you're looking for. So we're going to start with the first step. And again, this one might be just a teeny bit longer, just because I want to really dial into this. I really want to dial into this. So the first step is going to be identify. I cannot stress enough how crucial this is. A lot of people skip this step and they end up spinning their wheels. You need to know exactly who you're speaking to. So I'm giving you the steps for your visibility strategy. So now you need to look at your strategy and decide why and how it's incomplete. So the first one is identify. Identify. Somebody put identify in the comments because we skip this step so often. I want you to think about your ideal client. Who is she or he? What are her pain points? What are her dreams? What are her daily struggles? Now, the key is you can't serve everybody. So if you try to do that, you're only going to dilute your message. So you've got to take the time to really create a detailed profile of who your ideal client is. Give her a name. We look at age, we look at occupation, we look at hobbies, we look at, most importantly, understand her challenges. What keeps her up at night? What is she worried about at night? This is the type of clarity that will shape every other aspect of your visibility strategy. So that first one is identify. Identify. Again, I'm going to give you the steps. And if you're writing this down and you say, I don't have this piece in there, or I skipped that piece, then that's how you know your strategy is incomplete. And we need to tighten it up, because you've got too many people that you are required to impact. That's why you're here on this earth. You are designed, you are called to impact people, places, and things. So if you're not doing that, then we need to get you together. Let's go. So let's move to the second one, which is provide. This is where you're going to build trust and credibility. Think about the value that you can offer even before asking for the sale. Before you even ask for the sale, you're going to create content that educates, is going to inspire. It can entertain your audience. It can be blog posts, it can be social media content, it could be videos, it could be podcasts. Listen, I'm not going to show you all of it, but I'll just a quick look. But when I say my content strategy, if you have to print it out and look at it, I'm not going to pull them up, but listen, you have got to have your content strategy, your content creation, your content pillars, your content calendar. You've got to have it in such a way that you can follow it step by step by step. Because it is so easy to get out here and hear so many other things that seems right, that feels right, that looks right, and go do that instead of doing what really matters. The key is going to be consistency and being relevant. Share tips, answer questions, show up regularly. This builds out that relationship with your audience, and it positions you as a go-to resource in your field. Exactly, Jen. Put it where you can see it. Listen, I'm not going to show you all of it because this is my personal stuff, but it is at arm's length right here every single day, because I need to know exactly what I'm doing. I also have it on my computer. I have it where it's synced. I can look at it on any device that I'm on, even if I'm on your device. I can look at my own, my strategies. It is key. So you got identify, you've got provide. The next one is going to be engage. This is all about really building those genuine relationships. Once you've identified your audience and you're starting to provide them with that valuable content, it's time to engage on a deeper level. Again, you're replying to comments, you're in relevant groups, you're participating in conversations, you're being authentic and approachable. People do business with the people that they know, like, and trust. I heard someone, if I'm not on a call, a sales call, a coffee chat, a strategic partner call, I am somewhere edifying myself, for my clients, and or for my business. And so I was on a call yesterday, and the person that was speaking said it has gotten now to where it takes 47 touch points. 47 touch points before someone is willing, typically, to say yes to your ask. So when we talk about people do business with people they know, like, and trust, you've got to put in the work. Don't be afraid to share a little bit about your journey or your struggles. If you go to my YouTube channel, the featured video on there is how I got into visibility. What happened in a situation where it was made very evident that this is where I needed to be. So don't be afraid to show some of that transparency. Do you need to tell all your life business? No, you don't. But be relevant, okay? Share your personal life journey. Share your struggles, because people want to be able to relate to somebody that they can trust, somebody that they know can get them through it. Authenticity is a magnet for the right kind of connections. It is a magnet. So we've talked about identify, provide, and engage. Again, write those down. If you haven't gone through each of those steps within your visibility strategy, it's incomplete. There's no way around it. It's incomplete. The next step is going to be guide. You need to be able to guide. Exactly, Deborah. You have to be relatable. If I tell you that I started my business on day 1 and on day 2, I had a boatload of clients and I scaled immediately from there. I can't relate to you. You can't relate to me. Exactly. Authenticity is a magnet for connections. So now talking about the guide, in this particular section, you're guiding your audience towards a deeper engagement with your brand. This could be inviting them to join your email list. It could be attending a webinar, a masterclass, participate in some type of event that you're having. You're going to create opportunities for your audience to take small, bite-sized, incremental steps towards a larger commitment. Each step should really provide value and build on the trust that you've already established. Dramatic pause, because I want you to think about what was just said. It's stepping stones. And then the final step is going to be, we have to amplify. This step is about really multiplying, amplifying your efforts. But you've got to make sure the other 4 steps that you've done, you've got to make sure that they were effective. So once you've created that loyal audience, you've encouraged them to share your content. Word of mouth is beginning to happen when it comes to your brand. You're going to create shareable content. You're going to ask for testimonials. You're going to leverage social proof. You can also consider partnering with other influencers. And I just want to park right here for a second. An influencer does not necessarily mean that this is someone that has millions of followers. It means that they have an authentic connection with a group of people. Even if that influencer only has 100 people. I'll give you an example. I was reading, I want to say it was yesterday, day before, someone was talking about they had, like, I'll just use an example, 500 people on their list, but the person they were connecting with had 50,000 people on their list, but the person with the 500 had amazing engagement, whereas the person with 50,000 did not. So just because they had that large list does not mean the engagement is there. So when you're looking at influencers, be very specific with what you're looking at. Key factors, okay? So again, you can partner with influencers. Those people who will expand your niche or your reach in your niche, okay? Now, I want to give you an example. So those were the 5 that I really wanted you to hone in on. But I want to give you an example of what an incomplete visibility strategy looks like and why it's detrimental. And some of you may not need to imagine this, and I don't say that to be crass or harsh or rude or anything like that, but it's true. But imagine you're putting out great content, but you haven't clearly identified your audience. Your message is scattered and it doesn't resonate with anyone specifically. You're trying to connect with everyone but end up connecting with no one. This is a lack of focus, which means your content doesn't hit the mark and your efforts can feel wasted. That's what an incomplete strategy, visibility strategy, looks like. That is exactly what an incomplete visibility strategy looks like. And so without a complete visibility strategy, your business is going to continue to suffer. Your confidence is going to diminish. You're not attracting the right clients. All of these feelings of burnout will come. Listen, I'm in a lot of this, I'm speaking from what I was feeling when I really transitioned into this and why it's so near and dear to me. This is not just something I decided to do one day, because when your self-confidence takes a hit because it feels like you're shouting out into the darkness and you start questioning your abilities and your value, that's something we got to deal with. That is something we have to deal with, because over time, that can lead to burnout. It can lead to frustration. It can lead to a sense of defeat. Been there. So I wanted to also give you a couple of extra, just some action steps, okay? For the identity piece, some of the things that you can do, you can use surveys, you can use polls to gather information about your audience. You can analyze your competition to see who they're targeting and how. Now, I don't want you to use these instead of, okay? These are to be used alongside. Don't use these tools so that you don't have to do that research, so that you don't have to reach out to people, so that you don't have to put in that manual work. Let's not hide behind things. Let's come out from behind. Let's make the impact that we're designed to make. So when it comes to providing, create a content calendar. This is going to make sure you stay on task with delivering the valuable information and content that you have. Listen, and I've heard people say, well, I like to do it on a daily basis because I'm creative and, I get sparks of creativity and I want to post it. Listen, create your content calendar. Have it identified what you're going to post, when you're going to post it. And on the days you get a spark of creativity, post that also. But stick to your content calendar. As creatives, we do get those sparks of energy. We do get those sparks of, oh my goodness, I did a video yesterday. I hadn't planned on doing it. I do pop-up videos. Sometimes I post things. It's not a part of the content strategy, but it's something that came across my mind. It's in my heart. I'm thinking about it, whatever the case may be, and I post it. But that's also in addition to my content strategy, my content calendar that I've already got laid out. So if you're telling me that, well, I only want to be, I want to be creative, that's an excuse to not do a content calendar. And excuses only satisfy those that give them. That's going to create that inconsistency. Okay. So when it comes to engage, you can schedule regular times of the day that you're going to be online, where you are engaging with your audience. For the most part, my time of day is in the mornings, typically between about 7 a.m. Sometimes it can be a little bit more, between 7 a.m. and maybe about 11. Because typically after that, or maybe I'd say 10 to 11, somewhere around there, because I start getting my client calls. My client calls are scheduled starting at about 11, coffee chats. So I'm doing social media engagement from 7 to about 10 or 11. And then after that, my calls, anything that I have on my calendar after that. Then at the end of the day, I'm hanging out with the hubs. So you have to create that. You're not an employee. So you have to create your own schedule. When you go to work, if you have a 9 to 5, or if you had a 9 to 5, they told you what you had to do and you had to go by their parameters. But when you have your own business, you've got to set that up yourself. Hopefully I'm helping somebody. Let me know, put in the comments, let me know if I'm helping you, because listen, we there's too much important impact that we have to make in this world for us to be stuck in the same spots that we've been in for months, weeks, years. So put in the comments if I'm helping you. And then for guiding, which is really leading your ideal clients, you really want to have content, for instance, a great lead magnet, something that's going to offer quick wins for your audience. You're going to have things set up for them where they're able to consume content. And I will say this, you have a responsibility. You can't force anyone, you can't make anyone, but you have a small responsibility to try to help alleviate analysis paralysis and information overload. Just a little. You can't make anybody, you can't force anybody. And I'm not saying you go and, you start asking folks, stuff, but there's a level of accountability that as a professional you have. So you want to create content that is usable, those bite-sized pieces. Okay. Funnels. I love funnels. That's one thing that is like top of mind for me at all time. I'm always thinking about funnels. I love funnels. So think about those things where you can lead your ideal audience. And then the last one was to amplify. How can you create amplified relationships, referral programs, incentivize your audience to spread the word, different things like that, using those testimonials, even the case studies from your market research. Partner with complementary businesses or influencers. So these are all, if you've gone through and you've taken really good notes, even if you have to go back and listen to this a second time, because I kind of got off on a tangent a little bit. I wasn't planning to. But if you go back and you look at everything that you've written down and you say, you know what, I don't have this, or I don't have that, or I only have a piece of that, then your visibility strategy is incomplete. And we have to get it together. Now, before I wrap up, I want to tell you there's a couple of extra tips that I want to give you that will really supercharge your visibility strategy. It's going to really supercharge your visibility strategy. And some of these, I understand that I'm just going to say them. Number one, begin to really look at video content. Video is incredibly engaging. It allows you to connect on a personal level. You can use live sessions, you can use recorded videos, you can use short clips. Look into video content. The second thing is incorporate AI tools. When ChatGPT first came out, I was against it, but I was against it because of what I knew was going to happen, which is what ended up happening. I can look at, for the most part, not as much now, but I could look at people's content and tell that it went through AI. I can still pretty much, for the most part, I can spot it. But using AI to help you really streamline your content creation, your scheduling, your audience engagement, AI can help you in so many different ways. It is bananas. So really begin to look into AI. I'm probably going to be holding an AI class because there's so much that we can do with it. That's just, and I'm talking about, I use straight Chat GPT. I know there's a lot of different things. I use straight Chat GPT, but I also have it set up in a way that we like this. The next thing is track and adjust. I always say you cannot manage what you do not measure. It absolutely is, Deborah. But you cannot manage what you do not measure. If you don't measure, track, and audit what you're doing, you're not going to be able to manage it. You're not going to know what's working and what's not working. So regularly reviewing your strategy to see what's working and what isn't is going to be key. There's lots of analytics that you can use. There's lots of tools. And I want to say this, you've got to be willing to pivot if something isn't resonating with your audience, or if something just isn't working well for your business in general. So I want you all to remember that a complete visibility strategy is really, I would say, it's a journey. It's not a destination. It is a journey. And it requires effort, adaptation. It requires genuine commitment to serving your audience. Like my audience is life for me. That's, I think, eat and breathe my audience. So follow these tips, follow these steps, and I really believe you're going to be well on your way to creating powerful, effective visibility opportunities that will help you dial into your ideal client. So drop your questions in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will be sure to answer them. So I'm going to give you your day back. I will answer the comments or the questions. If you have questions, I will answer them in the comments. But I knew this was going to be a little bit longer, but I didn't know it was going to be this much longer. I try not to go too terribly long, but I just really wanted to get today's message. It was like burning all up in here. Let's get it going, y'all. Let's get it going. So I will see you all on the flip side.